We're going to do it on the fly. This is going to be very, this is good because people like real. They like candid.
Yeah, they're going to get candid.
Yeah,
That's for damn sure.
and candid.
I want you to do it.
Okay.
CEO it.
All right. So here we are. This is the Elements Athletics co-founding team. This is our inaugural. We're not calling it a podcast. Do we have a name for it, T?
Not a clue. No,
Oh, yeah.
We'll
It's not a
figure it
podcast because like podcast is cliche.
Chat.
Not necessarily. It's a chat. This is an opportunity for T and I to share what's going on at Elements Athletics, what we're thinking about, how we're trying to change the game. And so that's all it is. Just it's a little chat with a video camera.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So for the inaugural chat, we just wanted to sit down, and T and I have never done this.
Literally never.
But I don't think we've ever had the tell our story moment. We always tell our story in
Pitches,
in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Like chunks. Who's vibrating? Yeah, turn that off.
fucking-
Nobody says fuck in the podcast either.
Oh, no. How do I stop it from vibrating? I don't know what to do, Mark. Like, this is crazy. Do I just put my phone over there?
So T's the COO of a tech company. Yeah, just put your phone over there. Okay,
Mark, my water bottle's going to fall. Oh, my gosh.
we better get that.
Oh my God.
Don't touch your mic though. We have that setting
No, it's
perfect.
too late.
Fuck.
We're going to have to cut this like crazy. I messed up the entire podcast, guys. I am Mark.
I can't tell you right now. I'm actually like seeing the Stanley. If I had $1 for every time the Stanley.
Okay. Get off the Stanley.
'Kay.
Sorry.
Okay. No, just kidding. Okay, why don't we do it like this? Why don't you tell your version
Yeah.
of how the story starts, and then I'll tell my version,
Yeah.
and then we'll see where we overlap.
Yeah,
and-
totally. Well, my version of how we started or how I got started with Elements, it's a very fun one because Mark, I've known you since, I was 9 years old. Am I actually going to tell people my age, or am I just going to say since 9? That's been a couple decades.
Do it. Tell the truth. You look younger than you really are. So
Yeah. So that is, now I can't even do the math in my head. That is 22.
if I'm correct, Tamara, you're born in 1991.
Yeah. Thank you. That's 20.
Making you 34.
Years. Yes.
So I think we're 25 years.
25 years I've known Mark. I played basketball with his sister, Megan. And so I've known in the ecosphere, I've known him. Older brother, he was, enigma. But I think you reached out to me in February 2024, asking me some random questions about refereeing and like a survey product. And basically all it's asking, would this product be a good idea? Would it help referees? And I'm like, frick yeah. Like, absolutely. This is a great idea because I, at the time, was actually, I think I was still a part of the executive of I just got off the executive of our association, my local refereeing association. And I was very heavily involved with the mentoring and understanding the problems. And I'm like, Mark, this is a sweet idea. How can I help you make sure we get this into at least my association? And from there, I don't know how many times you'd called me, but I just kept trying to connect you with people and like, how can I test it? Whatever. And then I got pregnant in that time. And then in the summer.
On purpose.
Oh, yes. Wasn't exact. On purpose.
Yeah.
And then in the summer of that year, you came to amazing. You just asked me, hey, would you want to co-found? I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I would love to help this product because my entire thesis I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I love working with youth athletes and I love affecting and improving their ability to play the game and the love of the game. And so what you had introduced to me at the time, this is a way for me to help affect the game. Starting with the rest. Like, we were just trying to help the rest get better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I started there. That's how I got introduced. It was a year and a half ago. 2 years. Yeah. Year and a half ago.
Yeah. So everything you said was true. Yeah, but no, that is very much the origin story. Like I remember Tamara as like a little girl. You're a bit of a chucker in a good way, like it, but like it was good. Yeah, you played basketball with Megan, my little sister, and like the one thing I remember about you is you always were aggressive in the best possible way. Like you're somebody who just like a bias for action, I think is what they would call it for. And like that's just part of your instinct. And I always thought that was really cool. And followed adjacently, I am a chunk older than you. Just a little bit, yeah. 7 years older. So like we were never obviously like friends.
No.
Just kind of like in the same circle.
Yeah.
But just so my story was a very mediocre athlete kind of most of my life, had one really inglorious year of college basketball at Lethbridge College, did a kinesiology degree, like one of these there's a lot of dudes like me, just sports junkies that like turns out
Men's
leaguers, like you ended up being okay at something mostly because you played a lot, not because you had any actual like ability, yeah. Anyways, went to grad school, did a master in sport management at Gonzaga University. Again, like just feeding into the sports junkie. But the other thing I am just by nature is a startup junkie. And I had started a business called Natural Mattress and Furniture. We made custom mattresses and furniture and bootstrapped that business. And like every startup founder like was broke as you bootstrapped. And so I was like, hey, what do? I'm going to referee part-time. How hard could it be? I know basketball.
Easy money.
And that's where I became really familiar with a few things. Like one, the relationship with referees had changed since I was a kid. So that was a takeaway. Like I was a grown man when I did this. Like this was 2016, so I was over 30. And it still blew me away just how ignorant people are. And I mean that in every way, like ignorant in how they talk to people, ignorant in how they talk to the referees, ignorant in their rules knowledge.
I was just going to say the rules part.
Yeah.
No one knows the rules.
I remember so many games thinking like, if I could share with you how I felt about your coaching abilities, the same way you shared with me how you felt about my officiating abilities, I have a hunch you might think twice about coaching again. But anyways,
right?
So I did that for 6 years and I had a few observations. And ultimately, like I'm like the poster child, I think, for the problem. Like I have a daughter, she's 3 years old. I didn't have her daughter. My wife had her daughter. But I used the birth of the child of Austin and combined with COVID kind of as an excuse to just, I was like, I just don't enjoy this, and stopped. And I looked back and I was like, I should have enjoyed it. I like everything about it. I like the challenge. I like being a part of the game. I like the excitement that comes. I just really disliked being treated like an idiot.
Right.
And the other thing that I personally really look back is like I found improving very, I want to say difficult. Like, and not everyone has this experience.
Yeah.
Like, and I was intentionally like a ham and egger.
Right.
Like I was like I had no, like, collegiate officiating wasn't on my radar. I very much wanted to be just like a youth sports referee. Like that was, I think there's a lot of great officiating at the higher levels. I think there's a lot of officials that are working really hard to get to that level and they do a great job. But what I found is like, if you were somebody who's just like,
just here trying to make some money.
I'm just here trying to make some money, stay involved with the game. I think, I think U13 second division needs good refs too.
They probably need the best refs.
Yeah. And so like that was always kind of my takeaway. And I always found just like getting feedback's very difficult. Associations are just short on bodies to do evaluations, mentors, things like that. If you took the feedback from parents, coaches, and players, you'd think you were just
the worst human ever.
The worst human.
Not
and
even ref.
Yeah. And like, barely couldn't even spell basketball almost.
Right.
And so like that feedback wasn't great. And I mean, your partner, believe it or not, you don't sit there and watch your partner officiate a game, no matter what sport. You all split the court up. And so your partner's not a great source of feedback. Anyway, so these problems were on my mind. I was like, this experience should be better and it shouldn't be this hard to improve. And so I had it on my mind for a long time. And what kind of the genesis for me that was like, this is my next venture, so to speak. This is the space where I feel like I want to try and change the world. Was I saw Washington State high school officials and Ontario Soccer had piloted police body cams, and I was like,
Wild.
but yeah, like I was like, okay, we've reached this level where we're this desperate for solutions, and these are not cheap body cams. They're like over $1,000. I think if I remember correctly, they're like almost $1,500 for a body cam. Yeah, they're sweet. I mean, they have like a gyroscope and a harness, and like they're very cool. But
getting ready as a ref, like getting strapped up.
Yeah.
But
we're both late people by nature.
Mark's more late than I. Let's just put that there. But yes, I would be always late for games.
I don't know that the data supports that hypothesis, but we're going to. Well, I'll let you have that one for right now.
Thank you.
But anyways, you think of adding an extra like 4-minute step as you're after work trying to get across the city in a rush hour. Anyways, it's a pain in the butt. But nonetheless, I was like, holy cow, like we're this desperate for solutions. Like, but I was like, that's not an affordable or a scalable solution. And what do you do with all that video? I was like, there has to be a better way.
Right.
So that's where we started going back and forth. And like, I think you alluded, the original concept was a survey.
Mm-hmm.
And that the logic was we want an affordable solution that creates accountability. Right. So we were just really going to simply have people referees and coaches do surveys after the game, just and on sportsmanship. How'd you feel about it? Yep. Was there anything you need to share?
Yep. Yeah. And what I saw as a referee when Mark asked me about this product, we were already doing reports anyway as a ref after games. So I'm like, this can be integrated. This is great. And then it then gives the coach the ability to feel as though they're heard, let them have their piece.
Yep.
Regardless of what was done with that information.
Totally. Yeah, because that's every coach's biggest frustration is they just want to be talked to. They feel like they're not heard. And ultimately, I think sometimes they end up yelling because they feel like it's the only way they can be heard.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not that different from there are many situations where that holds true, where people yell and it's because it's just out of frustration because they feel like it's the only way that they're being heard.
And to almost seeing just to get the reaction and then afterwards, like, okay, I got the reaction, great.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point. Like sometimes it's a manipulation tool.
Yeah.
So we went out, we actually built the survey and we started looking for feedback, things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, right now we are not selling a survey.
Correct. Right. So what happened?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I'm not sure if it went through talking. I think it was more talking to investors. They're like, I don't get it. Or talking to people. They're like, okay, great, but there needs to be more to this. And so I'm trying to remember exactly how mic'd up became the thing. But it was between talking about the cat video, people doing video, and like, why don't we have refs wear mics, and like why are we not doing anything with the audio? So I can't remember. I literally don't remember the moment where it switched from survey to mic.
Yep. Well, and it was
but it made sense.
And kind of the genesis of that was, I'm going to stop saying genesis. I overuse that word. But the origin, of that was we talked to a bunch of administrators and they're like, coaches hate doing surveys.
Yes.
Coaches hate surveys. We can't get our coaches to do surveys. I don't think we're going to get coaches to do these surveys.
Right.
And then when we really thought about it, honestly, as referees, we're like, is a referee going to do this?
We hate doing reports in the first place.
Yeah. Like there's a massive problem with officials don't submit game reports as is.
Right.
And so like that occurred to us. We're just like, we like the theory of what we're doing of trying to create a bit of accountability, trying to stimulate conversation, flow of information.
Everyone loved that idea.
Everyone loved the idea.
That it was accountability. Like they loved it.
They love the fundamentals of it.
Yeah.
They love the logic behind it.
Yeah.
But we're just like, I don't know if survey's the execution.
Right.
And I had always had a concept in my mind. Like one of my ideas when I was refereeing was the concept that if I journaled regularly, I'll bet you I would notice patterns in my officiating.
Right.
But I was like, I'm not going to sit down and write a journal because I don't do it in my own life. I don't do it in anything. Right. And yeah, so like, I was like, that's not going to happen. I was like, and I'd had the concept of like, if I just captured my own, like I'd had the concept myself of miking up myself and using that as a journal and just like taking like the highlights of that. And we kind of morphed that idea into what if this becomes the accountability and this becomes the record of the game and the record of truth.
Right. Automating the reporting system, which refs hate, but then also having the record of truth. Exactly.
Yeah. And then we also create this really cool, like visual think before you think deterrent.
Right. Because anytime you see someone where it says like what this area is being video recorded or whatever, like you, even for a split second, you think, okay.
Yep. It's exact same logic. It's the security sign on the front of a yard. It's just whatever. Like the logic of, hey, FYI, we're paying attention.
Right.
And this is being recorded.
Right.
Like there's no plausible deniability later.
Right. Exactly.
No.
And then a lot of times people, well, that's not going to stop the crazy things from happening. No, understood. But like majority of the things that happen as a ref are the like minor things. Like even now, how many months, 6 months in, we don't have a lot of crazy incidences. A lot of them are the nuanced stuff that like, and I would say it's harder probably now because people know they're mic'd up. So like there's less nuanced incidences going on because people do think. People aren't, got to give people some credit.
Yeah. And the hypothesis has been true. Like like if you give people a reason, if you help them think before they speak, they do.
Will.
Yeah, and that's totally what we've seen.
Yeah.
So we fast forwarded the story quite a bit there. No, that was good. That was good. I liked it. If we reverse back, so we built Mic'd Up, and we started out. We did a whole bunch of. We got great support from local associations that were willing to let us come in and mic up referees. You've good friends in the officiating community. Matt Callio let us set up his.
That was huge. Matt letting us use his Modern Pro Camp. Refs who are very eager to get better, and they have good level games where there is tension.
Yep. And shout out to Eddie Richardson with who hosted the tournament that
Eddie
let us do it.
With he worked for his club team Genesis, but he also is a coach at the Edge School. Yeah,
so very cool. Like seeing like people on the coaching side being like, we have to change the culture around youth sports right now, and we're gonna let you come in and use and test Mic'd Up, and so we had used it in a bunch of situations like that where we captured a bunch of audio, and then we spent the next 9 months learning how do you take this audio and make heads and tails out of what's going on, make it useful.
Yeah.
And that was a big learning curve for us as entrepreneurs was we hear this all the time. Like when people talk to us about what we're doing, we're like, oh, cool. So you just like throw this through ChatGPT or something?
If only.
If only. If only it was that simple. Yeah. Because the reality of a sporting event is it is an audio nightmare. It's messy.
Especially the leagues that we're trying to protect, which is the youth ones, which are always in the craziest, dingiest, echoiest. Is that a word? I don't know. But environments. It's wild.
I wonder if echoiest is a word.
Hey, I made it.
Yeah, it is now.
It is now.
Yeah.
Coined.
Yeah, we own a tech company that specializes in audio analysis, so we can make the words. That's a term, echoiest. Yeah,
exactly.
We'll make it a scale. The audio is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so like learning, how do you pre-process the right way? How do you turn the right things up, the right things down? How do you make the right things quiet? Or how do you? One of the challenges is there's like hundreds of voices, and 98% of them don't matter, but how do you find the 2% that do? How do you key on the right moments? Yeah. It's been a lot of effort. We have a great, we've brought in a third co-founder since then who's,
I think he's probably one of the hardest tasks.
Yeah. So shout out Braden, who like has been working on that and we've come a long way. So now we're at a point where, we have customers that are using this. And we've seen exactly kind of what you were saying earlier, that this, like, our biggest takeaway is, if you help people think before they speak, they will.
Yeah. And to be fair, obviously right now, a lot of our data is
You don't have to use data in quotation marks.
Sorry.
It's real data.
Real data. Sorry. A lot of our feedback in terms of improvement in reduction of incidences have been based on from what our customers have said compared to last year based on what they feel. Because we didn't measure the year before we started Mic'd Up because we have no idea. Right?
Valid.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And we have a hard to measure thing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you measure how the referee feels about the game?
Yeah.
How do you measure how much verbal abuse was strewn out of the game? I mean, like, we can come up with, and we are working on like some cool comparisons and studies so we can show the real, like, maybe this is where I'll use data because this is like, but at the end of the day, what we are doing is a little bit difficult to measure.
Yeah.
However, it is one of those things where, like, as a referee, as an athlete, like, when you walk away from an experience and you feel good, you know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you walk away and you're like, that felt
poopy,
icky, poopy. Yeah. You know it. And that, I mean, that's the change that we're trying to create, because the stat, we haven't thrown the stat out yet. You see different versions of the stat, but directionally it's accurate no matter who we talk to. 80% of referees quit by their second year.
Yep.
And that's led to just like the cascade of that is that there's a massive shortage of like 3rd through 10th year referees.
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot of senior referees who have been doing it for a long time who are
they're great.
They're great.
Set in their ways. We all know them.
Yeah.
But it's good to have some fresh blood.
Yep. And it just doesn't exist. And we've talked to how many sports, how many associations across North America, and they're all telling the same story.
Well, and even, one of our current clients, Sabo, our main contact, Denver, I think he, in an email, I can't remember if it was a phone call or email, he literally told me he is the only one from his cohort when he first started.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so I'm going to try to see if I can get that, but that's from someone who he is now in a situation where he is leading an organization where he's like, I would love to bring this in because I want to not have that happen.
And as a result, like, you get a lot of 1st and 2nd year referees who are put into situations they have no business being in.
No, yeah.
Games that are above their ability. Yeah. And perhaps, I mean, it's just the same as throwing an athlete into a situation they're not ready for. They're not going to perform well.
Right. They're going to fail. So what does that do to their psyche? And a lot of 1st and 2nd year referees, they're unlike Mark, who was 30 when he first started. Most of them are probably 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
Right? And like high school students, we got to fluff them up a bit, protect them because we want them to be successful going on, and they have to fail.
Yep.
But is it safe for them to fail? And right now it's not.
Totally. And that's I'm going to go back to you as a young athlete. Like, you have like one of these unique abilities to miss 7, 8, 9 shots in a row, and it doesn't.
I'm still fogging. I'm still going.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, right? Most people aren't like that. Yeah, and that's what made you special as an athlete. But kind of what we've reached a situation in officiating is that only those personalities survive.
It's like the attrition, just what's it? Success through attrition or whatever. Like, it's just happens to make it through the meal.
Last person standing.
Yeah, there's no real secret sauce.
Yep. Yeah, we lose a ton of good officials because it's just sucks.
Yeah.
And so, like, we talk about this all the time. The fastest way to improve officiating, more 3rd year officials.
It's time.
Yeah, more 3rd, 4th year officials. If you double the amount of 3rd, 4th, 5th year officials, I mean, now you're getting more competition for the best games.
Right.
You don't have your best officials having to be overworked. Mm-hmm. So they're now going in mentally fresh.
Yep.
They're better.
And it's like iron sharpens iron, right? Like, you have the ability, you see people kind of progressing, going back, like, who might be better than you, and you're like, oh, how do I get there? There's like this internal type of kind of push, as opposed to just like, we're all just out here just floating in the wind, just getting whatever games, failing as we go, but there's no real
Yeah. Like
focus.
I've played on teams where there is, let's call it 3 very clear best players. And then there's
The role players.
everybody else. And in those environments, everybody knows nobody's challenging those top 3 players. And those top 3 players know that
They could.
it doesn't
commit
matter.
harder, and they
Yeah,
are-
exactly. There's no confidence. And then
It's tough.
then you play on teams where like 1 through 10 could potentially start.
Right.
And they push each other.
And
The
practice is
practices
crazy,
become
hey?
competitive.
Yeah.
Everyone's ready to go. Everyone's sharper.
Yeah.
And like right now, I think what we have is a situation like where in refereeing where there is like there's no bench.
And I can even speak to it from like being inside an association, because I currently am a university level official, and for good or for worse, the fact that I'm a female basketball player, I'm a POC, person of color, and I played the sport. I was identified really early in my association to be like fast tracked.
Yeah.
So like within 4 years, I'm going to say, 5 years. I started reffing in November of 2019. And then obviously COVID year. And then I'm now reffing now. And I took a year off 'cause pregnancy. So 4 years, I went from doing literally high school, junior high games to now youth sport, like university level and college at the same time.
Yep.
Which isn't the normal. So like I fully understand. Obviously I worked hard, and I work hard, but like unless you're kind of identified, it's really easy to get lost.
Yeah, that's we talk about that all the time. We're excited to, and I think there are great startups actually in the refereeing space that are helping with this as well.
Yes.
Love
to partner with them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But like
Yeah.
the concept of, we talked about this was an early saying we used a lot. Parents and politics are the 2 biggest problems with refereeing. PP, 2 Ps, parents and politics. And yeah, but in refereeing, if you're not good at self-advocating, it's very difficult to move up. And that's just not a lot of people's nature.
Yeah. Yep. And even people who maybe they made a bad initial impression, they're young, whatever. And then like people kind of like write them off. I know they're working hard, but how do you show what things can you give your association to help you, and ask for help.
Yeah, how can you ask for help? How can you improve? Because if you're not on that fast track, you get less help.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's a good background. We talked a lot about problems. How do we think Mic'd Up helps with some of that?
Oh my gosh. Well, so now this is where I want to make sure, are we talking about Mic'd Up current state or Mic'd Up future?
Let's just free flow.
Okay.
And then if we need to save some of it for later, we can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Obviously with Mic'd Up, the way the initial value add is the fact that I know as an official going on the court, and I'm gonna say myself as an official, as a new official, I have something that like if things completely hit the fan, I know I have something to go fall back on. And then also everyone knows, right? So like I just feel like not like Superwoman, like just have a little bit of extra extra protection, if that makes sense. And then from an administrator standpoint, the number of game reports, they actually want us to give them a lot of game reports all the time. But then also that's still a human on the other end of receiving all that. How do they filter and figure out what the most important? How do they help protect us? How do they help, make sure that coach that's always a problem is actually addressed, not at the end of season when it doesn't matter, in the middle of season where something can be done about it,
Yep.
right? So Mic'd Up essentially helps speed up that process for an administrator, and they can actually start to see trends faster and actually do something about it sooner without having to do too much heavy lifting.
Okay, so true or false? Let's do this for a sec. True or false? Referees submit way fewer game reports than they should.
1,000. False. True. Wow. 1,000% true.
Okay.
True.
I'm sure everybody knows what you said there.
I said everything.
Okay, so, and when they do get those reports, true or false, think about your answer.
Two options.
Two options. When they do get those game reports, those reports often water down what actually happened.
True.
And then when the association looks at those reports and goes out and speaks to both parties, the party who perhaps said the offensive thing often denies that it was said. True or false?
True.
So the compounding of all these events leads to associations know what's going on because they're out there, they're at the games, but they don't have good information. They don't have, they have a very hard time enforcing their own policies.
That's right. And I want to add a little context too. We are actually told to just put the facts and actually take any emotion out of it, which is fair. But then there's some situations where the emotion's
the story.
The story. So what do we do with that?
Yeah. Like, great call, ref.
Right. I've given T's for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you said it like that, I wouldn't have said a T. I wouldn't have given you a T.
Yeah, great call, ref is very different from, great call, ref.
Right. And like all the time.
All the time. And
In
like,
your ear.
Yeah, might have missed that one.
Right. Right.
Very different.
Very different.
Very different. And a lot of people in this space have learned how to be very effectively passive aggressive.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I think that's what it.
Yep.
It gives. Without adding more work for any party, it gives that color.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do. Like, we don't want to add a bunch of extra work, a bunch of extra steps. It's simple. So you grab the audio, you upload it, and we automate everything.
Yeah.
Yep. Flag if something happened that we need to know when there was a game report submitted so that can be matched up.
Right.
But then, administrators like, cool. You can't call a ref a fucking idiot. You need to think about that for a little bit of time.
Right.
And now we enforce
say that.
I feel differently. Yeah.
Here's the audio.
Yeah. Somebody did. Do you know who it was?
Yeah.
The ref said it was you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Okay, let's dive into, because I think we see mic'd up as a triage situation of like, hey, we need to give referees a little bit of space so they can develop, so a few more come back, so that we can just help people think before they speak.
And like, we're also, this is the biggest feedback we've been getting on or criticism we've been getting on socials is like, oh, you can't say anything to anybody anymore. We're not saying you can't say things to refs. Like, yes, we make bad calls. You can still have the emotion of the game.
No.
But we're just talking about the out-of-pocket, like, stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't like Pavlov's dogs.
No.
Where we're going to zap you if you do a behavior that, like, we think it, like, it's just...
Part of the game, we get it.
It's part of the game, yeah.
But there's some things, like, you're not, like, you wouldn't want said to you.
Yep.
So why do you think it's okay just because we have stripes on, or sorry, now it's grays on, you know what I mean? Like,
or if the ref said it to your kid.
Actually, that's actually a better put. What if I literally said that to you as your kid?
Yep. I had a meeting with an association recently, and that was actually one of the things they brought up was like, hey, we're upset with things that refs are saying to our players. And I agree that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like, we can't have refs that are running around saying things that are wrong.
Yeah.
But the flip side is it was amazing to me how that was the impetus. So it was an interesting perspective. And like, I mean, I was happy to have the conversation, and I hope that we were able to facilitate change in that scenario. But, you know, like, we're very intentional with our product. Like, we're there to protect referees. We're looking for incidents that are directed at the referees.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we see that as the primary problem. Anyways, to go back to the point of like, hey, what if the ref said that to your kid? It's funny how like referees have become almost like to steal it from officially human. We treat referees like they're not human.
Right.
No, which isn't cool. Now that being said, let's talk about some referees, not by name. These are in general referees. Because this is another conversation we have all the time, T, that a lot of times the best referees and how we're defining best is the ones that the players seem to enjoy the most.
Yeah.
So that's how we're defining best in this context. We're not defining best in the context of
Balls and
call
strikes.
accuracy, balls and strikes. We're not evaluating referees for the context of that. There's great evaluators and processes that do that. But in terms of like what athletes seem to enjoy the experience of a referee, it's ironic that call accuracy seems to be second to how the referee interacts and communicates.
Yeah, 1,000%. I can speak to this personally just the other weekend where within our referee crew, it might have felt like we might have let things go. Like we didn't feel the best about the last 2 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but then I had a second thought. I'm like, am I crazy? I thought it was okay, but like, no, I think we might have let too much stuff go. I go and ask the players. No, y'all did good. Like, it was great. It's fine. It's like interesting. So sometimes we're harder on ourselves as refs than like actually like what are the players giving us? Like, what are the players telling us? So that's actually funny you said that.
It's also, I think, reinforces the concept of like you're somebody who talks to the players.
Oh my gosh.
And you tend to have good relationships with players.
Yeah,
because of it.
Because I was the psycho. I was probably leading to some of these refs, not speaking nicely to them, getting technical fouls for speaking out of turn. But and so I get the players who are spicy, and I love to how I wish I would have been talked to is how I actually speak back to the players because I'm like I get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that remember that. I certainly got a few technical fouls myself. And so it's not that like we don't understand the problem. And I think you and I would say this, and we're not making decisions for how officials should call the games. Like we're not a governing body.
Nah.
Like, so this is just kind of like our philosophy on officiating, which I think helps people understand the logic behind the product.
Yeah.
We don't want to take the emotion out of the game. Like we don't see mic'd up as a tool to do that. I think players should get upset. I think coaches should get upset. I think the technical foul or a red card or a misconduct is just another call.
Yep.
And it's going to happen, and it's not a bad thing.
Yep.
And I think our hope for change isn't that those things are all removed. Our hope for change is that you can have a moment where you're pissed about an event. That's cool.
Yeah.
You can't be a dick for 90 minutes.
And then I think you can even go back onto our last recent post on Instagram from one of our fellow refs who was helping us in our company. An event happened to her. A call was made. And then after the game, the grown adult coach felt like it was okay to now personally attack this young 20-something-year-old referee for like a call after the game is done, whatever. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And I've seen that official officiate, and she's a good official.
Yeah.
And has certainly no malice or ill intent. Like she is there with the best of intentions.
Malice, I don't know if malice is even in her freaking DNA.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's those are the exact type of events that were like those are the events that lead referees to quit because they're just like, it's not somebody in the moment being like, that was a bullshit call.
Right. Hey, boop, boop.
Yeah. Like you deal with that person.
Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Like life goes on. Like you're allowed to have a moment. It's the very intentional personal attacks. And that's exactly like we break it down into categories. Like we are looking for criticism, insults, threats.
Yeah.
Like that is what we are looking for. Criticism, insult, threats, because we think those things they're no need.
Yeah.
And you can disagree. You can share your opinion.
Yeah.
You can't insult.
Yeah.
You can't threaten. Certainly you can't threaten.
Yeah.
And character assassinations are not cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But to go back, we circled back this communication, how do people get along? Have you has anyone ever taught you, because you are good at this as a referee, like you are good at communicating, you're good at, and it's just naturally who you are, and like you're like this in every facet of your life. Like every once in a while, you just like shut up, T. I just stop talking. Stop talking. Yeah, exactly. No, but like that's just who you are, and it carries over, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So you haven't had to be taught this. How do you teach a ref that?
Yeah. So I can at least speak to I have a group of 4 or 5 fellow refs who we kind of came into our U Sport lives together. And I know, again, it's hard as newer refs, you probably don't have this, but that's how I've gotten there, is where we literally just talk about, hey, hey guys, this is what I said to this. Like, what do you guys think? Like, and it's getting feedback from peers, but like, I know a lot of people don't have that. And so that is a very hard thing. Like, I know when I go to camps, so again, and not a lot of youth or new referees are going to camps, but there is a point in camps where we kind of go through like, oh, hey, here's some quick one-liners.
Yep.
And then, and unless I'm taking that information and back to my associations to newer referees who I happen to be mentoring, which I'm not really mentoring right now,
Yep.
there isn't a lot of coaching on what to say. And I get away with a lot of things just because I'm very smiley and bubbly. I kind of say things, but that's my personality.
Yep.
So yeah, there isn't a lot of training on it. There isn't any training on it outside of, just happen to be talking to your fellow ref.
Yep.
Hey, this happened. Oh, say this. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Frick, write that down.
So this reminds me a lot of, like, most of my career's been in sales in some capacity. And as a result of that, I've had the great, I'm going to say, pleasure of participating in a lot of sales training. And all of sales is how you talk, right?
Yeah.
It's how you communicate. So I'm going to bring this back to sport quickly, because nobody wants to hear people talk about sales. But it's funny how, like, in an occupation where your entire job is how you talk, for a long time, how you were supposed to learn that is like by either watching somebody else tell you the sentences you should say, or by role playing. Now, in the history of life, have you ever heard anyone who was like, I role played and it was like the best idea I ever had? Like, oh my goodness, like I loved it. Like the feedback was so good. It felt so natural.
Hate role playing.
You never show up the way you do in the situation. So it's like, that's the biggest problem with it, is because you don't show up the way you do in reality, that it becomes an irrelevant practice session.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and actually kind of pause in that, talk about that. Like, what has helped me even in my communication with, not necessarily refereeing, but as a business owner, I learned how I actually appear, how I, during the Myers-Briggs or whatever those personality things are, I realized how I think I show up versus how I actually show up. And that in itself was the first thing, but that wasn't from refereeing. That was because of my business.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You had this situation where it was like your ability to make an income was dependent on like knowing the truth.
Yes, exactly.
When I worked for Shopify for a couple of years, post Natural Mattress, before I started the, Elements Athletics, and fantastic business, fantastic company, fantastic experience is what I meant to say. But they had a product there called Gong that I initially wanted to hate, because and the idea was to just literally like, it recorded your calls and it gave you feedback on them. Like, you watched yourself sell, but more than that, it like broke down like talk times. It broke down how much space you're giving like the other person. It broke down your most frequent objections, things like that. It gave you a bunch of really good feedback. I've never had a sales tool help me get better faster.
No. And
it's as simple. And the biggest variable in that was just, I was actually watching myself do it in real situations. Like, I couldn't deny, like, hey, Mark, when you don't close? When you talk 80% of the time.
Data.
Yeah, data. Yeah, like, you can no longer deny, like, oh my goodness, like, you talk over people. Yeah. People don't like that. And when they don't like you, they don't do the thing you ask them to do. Yeah. So that's the next evolution mic'd up. And that's where we see this being, it's like we have this layer of like, we're coming in, we're triaging, and we're saying, hey, we're going to help you think before you speak. We're creating an accountability tool. We're automating the reporting of abuse. We're helping associations quantify the amount of threats, insults, and threats, insults, and
Oh my gosh. Now this
criticism
is
that a referee gets. But now we're saying, hey, referee, like the biggest variable in your job for your experience is how you communicate. It's your words.
and you can only affect you. You can't affect how someone else responds.
And we're going to actually give you real data on how to improve that. So the next evolution is it's a product that we're going to let referees use directly, where they can now look at their conversations that they've had on a court, where they explain a call. And we overuse basketball as an analogy, but this court, ice, field, rink. So referee, listen to how you explain this. Referee, here's how this interaction with a coach or a player sounded. Listen back and be like, is there different phrasing that you wanted to use? Yeah. Like, could you de-escalate this differently? Like, you're going to now just get real feedback on how you're really showing up.
Right. And like, again, speaking from the referee's perspective, currently, we always get at the university level, college level, you always have a debrief at the end of the game. Yep. And there's at some point, the evaluator is always saying about, remember when this. Yep. Well, now it's like, okay. And they try to help you with conversations. Now don't have to remember. I can just go back.
You don't have to remember it. You go back and you can rehearse it in your mind in that moment. You're like, okay, like here's how I'm going to say it again. You can say it out loud. You can practice it out loud. How many times have you walked away from a conversation, not even necessarily in a refereeing scenario, but just any conversation where you walk away, especially maybe like a bit of a contentious situation, and you're like, why didn't I say this?
Right. Why didn't I say this? So many times.
Like, yeah.
Or you think, I must have said this, but then.
Yeah. And as a result, because you always walk away, you have that thought, and then like, none of us like write it down, make a note, whatever the case may be. So the next time you're in like a very similar situation, do you say the thing that you should have said? No, you just default to your habits.
Yeah. Because you're not trained, it's like, okay, free throw. Sorry, basketball analogy. It's like free throws. You got to practice it. But there was no opportunity to practice. Like I didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here, I'll make this analogy because I know this about you as a basketball player. Your jump shot perhaps didn't have the arc that it needed.
Shout out to Dave Love who helped me. But yeah.
Oh, did you work with Dave Love?
I did.
It's impressive.
He helped me. That's why.
Now, did Dave ever show you video?
He did. I rewatched video. We watched video. Yes. Whether it was him, it was from games.
Yeah, you watched film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think if you would have watched film earlier, you would have broke that habit faster? Like just by like
Probably.
being aware of.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Like I was never good. Okay. Sorry. Good. I was never good at watching film.
Yeah.
And I was watching other people. Like, so yeah, if I would have actually just watched and like, okay, Tamara, work on your jump shot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. No. Well, and you're like a goal-oriented person. So I think the way you shot the ball is like a natural byproduct for a lot of young athletes. We're not going to get into athlete development, but you wanted to score and you needed to get it to the rim.
Get it in.
Yeah, you needed to get there. And so like,
you remember that? I had to work on that.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's got a good memory.
Yeah. I do have a good memory. Yeah. Cool. All right. What have we missed? Like,
honestly, I don't think anything. I guess we want to talk about who we still need to get connected, where we at, maybe talk about TNT, where we're at in our company, like ecosystem.
Let's leave the boring business stuff. Yeah. If anyone's out there and wants to be involved in what we're doing from a business component, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you. That being said, like I think where we're really at, because what we want to do is change the game. And we haven't talked about this yet. What I hate about most youth sports events that I go to right now is there's this underlayer of negativity. And I think a lot of it if we can clean it up at like, hey, stop complaining about the refs.
Right.
I think it completely changes the entire athlete experience. Like, let's stop teaching a kid that if they don't get an outcome that they want,
somebody.
to blame somebody else. Maybe the ref did make a bad call. Don't blame the ref. Own it.
You had a great analogy or comparison. Do we expect players? What's a great shooting percentage for a player?
I mean, it depends, but let's use 50 as a
50. Okay, for a jump shot, right?
Yep.
50. If you're 50% from your jump shot, basically outside the key,
Yep.
you're like freaking on fire.
Yep.
Right? That's 50%. Imagine if we had that same expectation for a ref that they're 50% accurate. Wild.
Yep.
We would say the game was ruined.
Yep. That would be, yeah, you're right. It'd be awful. How many times does a coach make the wrong substitution? How many times does a coach call the wrong
Player
out of bounds play, et cetera, implement the wrong offensive strategy, et cetera? And yeah, like, are you getting ripped to shreds for ultimately just trying your best? You shouldn't be.
Right. So then
You should be celebrated for the effort. And it's not that referees want grace for being bad. I don't think that's what
That's not what
we're asking at all. Like, it's not about that. It's just about let them be human.
And shout out to officially human, but also associations. We do have a lot of great structures in place for development, and there is money going into referee development.
Yep.
Trust that there are people who are qualified who will give that ref feedback at some point. It's not you, parent, 10 feet in the stand, all the way up in the stands, nosebleeds. You know what I mean?
We want to incentivize referees to make the right call, not the call that leads to the least amount of complaining.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, like, I think the analogy that I think of a lot of times, there was a storyline this year that I think is a reflection of society on many levels, but we'll keep it into the officiating context maybe, or maybe we won't. Maybe we can talk about whatever we want because it's all important to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the first female umpire for Major League Baseball made her debut this year, and I wish I could look up what her name is right now. I feel awful that I can't remember it, but we'll lok it up after.
Yeah. We'll put it in the notes.
Put it in the notes, yeah, on the screen or something along those lines. I might have these numbers slightly off, so don't murder me in the comments. Okay. But directionally, they're accurate. If I recall, her call accuracy was, I want to say 91, 92% or something in the first few games I read an article on. And the major league average, I believe the benchmark is 93 or 94%. And so like, she performed just a hair below what was average, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
On her first games ever.
In the MLB.
In the MLB. Correct. So like,
no nerves there.
No nerves, first ever. And the group, it is amazing the criticism that was, like about how like, oh, umpires are awful, umpires are terrible, oh my goodness. This person went out and in their first outing ever, performed almost as well as a robot. Almost as well as a robot would. Like 94% accuracy is an absurd.
That's wild.
If stockbrokers were as good at their jobs, as accurate as umpires are,
you'd all be rich.
So much money. So much money. Yeah. Or whatever. Like, I mean, the analogies go on forever.
Yeah.
Like the expectation that we have, is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, but you go and you look at a game and let's say you even have an above average official who maybe they had a 95% call accuracy. In the course of hundreds of calls, all people remember are the dozen that were wrong.
Right.
All they remember.
Well, and then not to sideline it, but like what people don't realize about refereeing is that we're actually making a ton of decisions, which is actually no calls. So even the fact that the whistle's blown, so that's the 95% you can actually measure.
Yep.
There are hundreds of other decisions that were made that didn't put a whistle on for the flow of the game.
Yep. Yeah. Baseball's very unique in that you have like a very like closed event with a ball strike, and it's a right or a wrong call. But yeah, you get into all the invasion sports, doesn't matter what it is, basketball, lacrosse, hockey, soccer, etc. And like there's literally like second to second decision making, and most of them are no calls.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Read the rule book. If anyone actually read the rule book, it talks about decision making.
Yep. So, but we're here because like we just hate that. I don't know. I think it's extremely cringy, just like what's happening right now in youth sports of like, hey, like they're missing the most important lesson a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think a great way to start teaching the lesson is the referee's not the scapegoat. They're not the kicking post.
Right.
It's not their fault.
Right.
And mistakes happen. And you know what a superpower you can learn in life is? That when something bad happens to you that's not in your control, that you have the ability to move on.
Literally move past it, and even potentially like what could you do next? Like, yeah.
Yep.
Oop. I have to stop cussing.
Yeah. That'd be appreciated.
Sorry.
No, just
Yeah. No, it's so true. And like just it comes back to accountability. People learning how to be accountable to their own actions and just doing things within their control.
Yep. But you don't learn it if it doesn't get called out.
Yeah. The mirror. That's what we're doing essentially. We're trying to give the mirror to people.
Yeah. Like until you actually have reality of, hey, this is actually what you said. This is what you sound like. This is how you show up. Change is very difficult because you talked about that with your business example earlier. Like we all think we show up differently than we do.
1,000%.
And real change can't happen until we accurately know how we're showing up.
Yeah. And like, exactly.
Yeah. That's what Mike Up does. It gives a coach perhaps a chance to hear how they sounded when they explained that and realizing, oh, I thought I said that
respectfully, but I'm hearing the tone and context now. That was not respectful.
Bingo. It gives the referee the chance to be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that coach came in pissed, and I met them where they were at instead of trying to bring it down. Gives the referee the chance to improve. Yeah. So it's a mirror. It's a mirror for everybody, and it's a tool that can bring real change. And I think we think the change I think that we're most excited about is almost an unintended consequence of the change in the athlete experience.
Yeah, and that's foo-foo, call it foo-foo, whatever. That is what excited me the most about, again, before it was even mic'd up, when it was a freaking survey product, right? That idea of the global effect, the global change, because ultimately the youth are the key. Now, obviously, you're been a father, I'm now a mother, like the idea of what we can help affect and change culture.
Yep.
I'm down for that. I'm here for that.
Hope we can put in like a really cool, like, we are the world as we're like maybe to outro this on that. But
Do we talk about where we're going?
Next time, I think. Okay. I think it's 11:15.
Yeah, we're good.
We talked. Gotta say, we're doing this once a month. We committed.
Chat. We're gonna come up with maybe we should do like a survey or like what should we call this?
Well, we could do a survey. What we call this?
You know, what do we call our chats?
You just got me thinking.
When he does this, it's like his beautiful mind. I can see like the things moving and rolling. I love it. What are you gonna say?
Well, this is something that'll mean more to us internally than it would be to the general world. But maybe we call this chatter.
That's gonna make me cry. This should be called chatter. I like it. I think I like it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry, we don't care what you guys think.
Yeah.
It's gonna be chatter.
It's an inside thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You had to have blood, sweat, and tears for the last year and a half to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, till the next time, we'll have a little more chatter.
Till next time.
That was a good chat.
Sweet. That was great.
That was fun.
That was so much fun. I just love chatting.